There is exactly 1 minute and 53 seconds of grainy Elden Ring footage floating around on the internet. We are blessed. Thanks to this footage, we now know exactly what the game is going to be: Dark Souls 4. But before we start digging into the juicy details, I want to make it clear that I cannot show any of it because I'm afraid that Miyazaki would materialize behind me, spank me with a spatula before deleting my entire channel. So if you want to see it, it's pretty easy to find on the internet while you're watching this video. I might show some sneaky screenshots, but nothing too spoilery. If you do watch it, be aware that this footage is from an older build and it's not intended to be shown to the public, so the visuals, what you can see beneath the grain and the watermark, is probably not up to date. I just want to be fair to FromSoft and let you guys know. With all of that out of the way, there is a decent amount of gameplay shown to us in the trailer. There are no extended segments of combat and most scenes only last for a few seconds, but despite that, everything we see, from movement to combat, dodge rolls, weapons and spell, it all has that distinct Souls flavor to it. During what seems to be a boss fight, you see the player character dodge roll into an attack using the iframes to avoid damage. Then, in another scene, you see him use a spell like Integrate Magic Sword, except it's a thrust instead of a slash. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's take it from the top. The first 20-ish seconds of the trailer shows us parts of the world that we will be exploring. It shows us some freaky giants used as slaves and some other people that might as well be classified as hollows. A voiceover tells us that we are currently at the very edge of the map, which could be another way of saying that we're at the end of the world, because Miyazaki really loves his post-apocalyptic setups. Then we transitioned into a showcase of what I assume to be some of the game's character classes. The first guy is straight up holding a Carthus curved sword and a kite shield. Next we get a man wielding a battle axe, and lastly a lady using a catalyst for homing crystal souls mass. Yeah, that's right, that spell is back and it is seen quite clearly. But I wouldn't be surprised if FromSoft chooses to change the visuals when the game releases. That lady, by the way, is wearing a very familiar hat. Somebody at FromSoft really loves that design. Then we are hit with what I consider to be the most interesting part of the trailer. We see a man crouch walking stealthily towards another person before stabbing the poor sod in the back. It is not shot as if we control the stabber, unfortunately, but considering the fact that stealth was such a huge part of Sekiro, I wouldn't be surprised to see some of those mechanics rolled over into Elden Ring. The mechanics of Dark Souls 3 are incredibly polished, no matter what other people say. So to evolve the series, new mechanics are going to have to be introduced, and stealth would fit perfectly in my humble opinion. I mean, just imagine, stealth in PvP, more opportunities for real ambushes. Maybe while in stealth mode your attacks or backstabs or whatever would do increased damage, but so would the damage that you take. If you are the ambushee and detect and avoid your would-be assailant's trap, you could lock onto your opponent and let the game know that he's there and make him unable to get back into stealth mode. Or maybe if you're in stealth mode and do a dodge roll, you exit it, you cancel it. I mean, there's so many ways of doing this and I could rant about this all day, but listen. This is just wishful thinking from me at this point, as there are no indication that we will get PvP in Elden Ring. Honestly, I would be really surprised if we didn't get some PvP, but there are no evidence as of yet. Let's just get back into the trailer, shall we? We see someone walking into darkness with a torch. The promise of torches have never really lived up to its potential in the other Souls games. Personally, I don't really care all that much, but maybe you do. And with all of that said, with the way you move and hold a torch, you could be forgiven to think that this is Dark Souls 3 DLC coming out 5 years later. We get to see some more weapons, like a straight sword and the aforementioned magical thrust. That's what my wife calls me in bed. In a few glorious seconds, we see a man walking with a flail. Yeah, a flail. That got me all hot and bothered. I don't know if physics are going to be involved with this weapon, or if it's just going to be a standard moveset, but either way. It's a flail! Then we get a few quick shots of combat where we see the dodge roll before we transition into your character riding an absolute unit of a horse, engaging in some jolly horse combat. That looks sweet, no more analysis required there. Then there's a cut, no more trailer in the traditional sense, but rather a showcase of the world's locations. Quite frankly, none of my descriptions would do it justice, so let's just say that there are two things of note here. One, you see a character opening a door using the Dark Souls 3 animation, which just reinforces my opinion that Elden Ring will be Dark Souls 4, and you see a character jumping. Not like Sekiro, by the way, who jumps like he's a bunny on speed, but it seems like you can jump now without any of that running that is usually required. That's it, that's the end of my script, I don't have any more. So thank you for watching. Oh, and by the way, did you know that 72% of the people who watch this video will not find true love? Well, how about you subscribe and make yourself feel a little less lonely? Goodbye.